that work more often without having to report physically to a fixed environment. So what does that mean for people who are adopting these new methods and strategies to the changing society in terms of post-industrialization? They want people to be able to access cloud computing apps, thus omniverses, so that they can be the direct contact for their partners, for other organizations, thus business to business modeling. It's all going to be virtual. So companies out front of this new frontier, you have NVIDIA, which focuses on virtual and tangible output. I covered hardcore technologies on another platform this morning, of which I'm a huge fan of right now in terms of construction and labor. You're seeing a reduction in personnel at construction sites because now you have what you call prefab, pre-slab materials that are being output every day. There were rumors, there was a lot of speculation saying that old people will be able to print houses. No one is going to print you a worthy house in a day, but these people here are certainly printing the materials and thus constructing complete homes in a matter of weeks and months, depending on the budget. You have Nano Dimension, which specializes in transformational processes that print complete circuits in days versus weeks and months. How's this going to counter this chip crisis that we all became aware of earlier this year? There will not be a need to have trade agreements and alliances with conflicting nations. I tell you that much. Industries in overdrive. You have the defense industry, which of course includes our Department of Defense here stateside. Transportation for more EV options or electrical vehicle options, and driverless designs. I was telling people years ago when I was out west that you have Spain that already had driverless public buses on the road maybe 3 years ago. Did a lot of research, gathered a lot of significant data for their driverless buses. Of course, they had someone in the seat to observe for and report areas while driving, but those buses are amazing. They recognize traffic signals, signage, of course, the lane recognition on pavements. When approaching someone who's using a mobility device, they're awesome. You have to look that up on your own. Okay, energy and power companies are adapting new I'm so happy about covering this material this morning, I can barely speak. You have energy and power companies with their new adaptations and transitions into fuelless options for energy, not just to power residential and commercial settings, but also new grid adaptations. I encourage everyone, get up, take some trips, see what's going on in your country, have a look at what's going on in others. Talk to people, ask questions, get over your personal feelings or afflictions with people. You never know who can tell you something or provide you with some much needed information. And I'm telling you, just in the western half of the United States, you're seeing all of this now, especially between Las Vegas and Laughlin, Nevada. You have an entire solar grid that's already working and functioning, that's providing power to 3 different states to some degree. Okay, so, and again, you have construction companies that's now hiring for tech-savvy people for increasing remote roles. That's something to think about. And I can guarantee you there are foremen who probably thought 20 years ago that they did not need to hire someone with a degree in information technology, computer information systems, network engineering, etc. But they are. And changes in industries including information technology. Let's have a look at digital printing for components and hardware options and design elements via NVIDIA. They have this amazing Dragonfly. You can go to their website and you can look at that new release or not so new release for people who follow tech. This is an amazing machine. They detail how the process begins, expectations for output. And again, if you become a customer of some of these companies, they have great tutorial, they have excellent tech support staff, and real people working in these roles. Okay, I think the company is pronounced Danae Incorporated. It offers an online ordering platform for those who do not own a 3D printer for projects and products. So there's a link there. There's something for you to follow. Okay, now changes in transportation and logistics. There are a lot of people, again, who have thoughts, concerns, and opinions about changes. People are not as flexible as they used to be. 50 years ago, I believe people here in the West had more flexibility in terms of technological advances. Of course, there are a lot of issues that come with technological advances, but nonetheless, the benefits are worthy, especially for people who are less fortunate and live in remote areas. It's all in how you use these things, and with use, there should be limits, no boundaries, recognize them, implement some. But for transportation and logistics people, there are already changes in airplanes, jets, trains, and boats to the extent that how you get your luggage from a plane or how your luggage gets to you from a plane is it actually will blow your mind. I tell people as a traveler, I know for a fact that every piece of luggage that you check in is not going under the plane that you're boarding. Okay, so if you don't believe me, look that up. But I did learn about solar powered boats. Of course, a couple of years ago, I thought this was a myth, but they definitely have some. And I always knew that one of the first benefactors for this would be your cruise liners, because if you think about it, these are floating cities on the water with real people on board. So you got to think about weight, height, volume, etc. They've been using this for more than a decade, people, but now there are options available for the public. These new boats are coming equipped with everything on board, including your satellite phone, the devices, built-ins, etc. Everything is there. And with most of these new buys, you don't have to buy external servicing. With these purchases, everything you need is coming right there. If you're already a customer of certain companies, so that's more money back in your pocket. And I'm gonna end with this because I can talk about this forever. Next year, you all are probably gonna hear about and see some of this stuff. And before I go, I do want to talk about how you have African nations now adopting new legislation as no dump zones for Western nations. When new technology rolls out, old technology gets tossed in the trash. The components, the parts, or hardware in general that is no longer for good, it can no longer be repurposed, recycled, reused. These items end up on the shores of developing nations. And now you have these nations that are saying no because they are now stepping into their ages of progress, which I love. So one final thing, there was an actual product, not a prototype, that hit Twitter last week that kind of upsetted me because I told people 2 years ago that Gorilla Glass styled mobile phones and devices are going to hit the market. Had that conversation with one of my instructors in a program I decided to complete, and he told me basically that I was so far ahead that it wouldn't happen in the next 5 years. But hey, there you have a tempered glass looking cell phone on the market. So look for that in the next 3 months. I thought these devices would be out by Christmas this year, but they weren't ready for it because sales are down for some of the most popular items I'm not going to name here. Thank you for your time, you all. Have a great day.